Okay, guys. So let's sort of start quite simply at the beginning. Like, obviously, you're spread around the globe. How does the music come together for Skyharbor? How does it?
You should take this one.
That's the well, it's very important for everyone to have their own recording setup. So how we work is that usually anyone, could be anyone, just comes up with an idea and they record it with whatever instrument they have, and we send it to everyone, we email it to everyone, and then people take that, do their own thing on top of it, record that, send it back, and we just do a lot of back and forth till we sort of flesh out arrangements and stuff.
So despite the distance, it's still very collaborative.
Oh, it's probably a lot more collaborative than a lot of bands that live in the same place even, because there's so many bands that even though they live in the same city, for example, there's usually maybe just one or two guys who are involved in writing the music and everyone else just sort of does what they're told. But in our case, we're very particular that it has to be like a fully collaborative effort. It takes a while longer, but I think the end product is worth it.
It's rewarding.
I have the convenience as well of both of us live in India, so I go over to his studio in Delhi and we kind of like put our heads together and work on stuff together. So
can sort of hothouse put it under a greenhouse and magnify your own sort of contribution in that way.
Absolutely,
that's the best way you could describe it.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. What is your favourite part of the whole process? Is it sort of writing, recording, the release of the album, or then touring it?
Writing is my favourite part.
Yeah, for sure. Like, if it weren't for the fact that we love writing music so much, I don't think this band would exist, because it's not fun. The logistics of getting together from everywhere around the world, the stress of like not rehearsing properly, because we just usually meet up at a point and then start playing shows. So it's the writing, the love of the writing.
Being on the road is pretty hard. Yeah. So the writing part of it is still my favorite part. I didn't write the first album. I was only involved in the writing of the second album. It was really special process. So,
like with this tour that we're on right now, we only had like a couple of hours of rehearsal.
Oh really?
Yeah, for like a 29 show tour. So it sounds like we're being flippant about it, but it's really stressful. So it's the love of the writing of the music that keeps us.
Yeah, keeps it all going. Okay, excellent. Okay. For me, the album is very unrestricted by like any sort of preconceived notions of what metal should be or what heavy music should be. So, without using any adjectives that are traditionally applied to metal, describe Skyharbor.
I would say it's a journey. Like this album, a lot of it is just like a trip. It's like when we wrote it, we had like going like through certain like passages of music, movements. It was more about fluidity.
Sure.
Yeah, rather than something that's fixed or like structured. It was more about what feels right.
But at the same time, I also think that we have our songs stand on their own as songs. It's not like say classical pieces where you just have movements and movements. So like each song can be heard on its own, and it has its own hook, it has its own sense of identity. But at the same time, the album as a whole can also be enjoyed as an experience in itself. So like you said, it's a journey. It's an emotional experience. I think the channeling of emotions and expressing a positive message, is basically what we're all about.
Fantastic. And that positivity, I think, really comes across in the music. The combination of like music that is both like intense, but like there's an emotional intensity rather than a physical intensity.
Yes, exactly. Just to touch on that,
go for it.
We have a lot of fans that come to the shows, and you see them standing still, during the songs, and a lot of people say on YouTube, you've got comments saying that the crowd looks dead, they're not moving, but the fact is they're actually absorbing it and just standing there and listening to the music and paying attention, which we actually prefer as opposed to people just jumping around and like punching each other.
Well, they're moving inside.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. when I listen to you guys, I hear a lot of 1980s. Maybe it's because of my age, because I'm like 35, so like I hear a lot of like Michael Jackson, Nick Kershaw, Scrizzy Politti, stuff like that. When you listen back to the record, what do you hear? Like in your moments when you're sort of a bit off guard and you hear it like,
I hear a bit of Tool actually, scattered throughout the albums. So that was an influence that kind of just like crept its way in somehow. It wasn't a conscious thing. It was like maybe like a while after it was all written that we realized that maybe like the influence is like kind of visible. You know, like it's possible for somebody to make that connection.
I think you know, with the 1980s, let's say with the 1990s, for example, there was this sort of general shift towards things being very stripped down with the whole grunge movement and all. You know, it was like breaking it down to its basics, like just, you know, a simple heavy guitar sound, heavy drums, nothing too too flashy, nothing too. Whereas in the 80s, you had a lot of emphasis on effects, you know, like soundscapes and sound selection and that kind of stuff, and that's and production, you know, like overly produced music, which is something that we're also like fans of, you know. So although we do like the rawness and the, you know, the naturalness of stuff, but at the same time, like we do like it to sound a bit hi-fi.
yes,
So maybe that's where some of the 80s and the Michael Jackson influence, definitely. Dan is hugely influenced by Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
So his vocal melodies are,
that float on that way, you know, that are both groovy and very melodic at the same time. Okay, if you guys were to make a film score together as a band, you know,
A dream, yeah.
what kind of film would it be?
I mean, this is,
Something that doesn't have a happy ending.
yeah, for sure, yeah.
Something that recognizes, I don't know, maybe something that recognizes dysfunction in human beings.
Yeah.
I'm just like shooting out of nowhere, you know?
Like
Don't think we can pitch this.
something with an something which is a bit ambiguous, you know. So it's like you have layers, you know. You can look at something a certain way, but you can also look at it a completely different way, you know. Like I would have loved to do the soundtrack for Interstellar.
Yeah. Well, because that's that as you say about ambiguity and like, it's one film that looks as though it's about one thing, but actually it's
About something else.
you know.
But it's all a matter of perception, isn't it?
Exactly.
It could be whatever you want it to be.
No, totally. Okay. What do you think the keys are to satisfying a metal fan base, but with having lots of like pop elements and groove elements, you know,
Distorted guitars. Loud distorted guitars.
I mean, to be honest, you know, this might sound really selfish and rude, but we've never really thought about pleasing our fans. And it's not because we don't respect them, but it's because the reason they got into us in the first place was because we were doing something that was entirely just to satisfy ourselves. It was a very selfish pursuit in the beginning, you know. Like for me, the first album was basically just me writing all the music myself, and I had no intentions of it becoming like a touring band like this, you know. I just wanted to record my music and put it out. The fact that a label and distribution and like the live band and booking agencies and all of this stuff happened was just completely like not part of the plan.
Sure.
You know? But the fact that people around the world seemed to vibe with it and got into the fact that I was doing exactly what I wanted to do, I think just led to us continuing to do exactly what we wanted to do, because you know, it's like if it's working, if that's what people want to hear from us, they want to hear what we want to put out, then it just makes sense that we do exactly what we do. You know?
So by being true to yourself, you're also being true to them. And
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, if you go out of your way just to maybe satisfy a certain fan base that you've collected because you know you've been clubbed into a certain genre or into a certain like pool that you know you play with these kind of bands, your music falls under this category, and if you just end up appealing to that category, then you never really grow. You know.
And then you won't really be happy. You'll always feel that there's something like
yeah, there was something gnawing away in you that you didn't quite deal with or whatever, you know.
You know, I mean, all the success in the world is fine, but at the end of the day, the reason we started playing music was because we had this itch that needed to be scratched, and if you're not scratching it,
Then, yeah,
you know, what's
exactly.
the point? We might as well have been doing something
Well,
else.
well, then it's just the job, and then it's
Exactly.
unfulfilling. Do you know what I mean? And, you know. Okay. Just a couple of sort of silly ones to end with. Okay, firstly, music-based one. If you could set up 2 tours, dream tours, anyone playing with you,
Oh yeah.
but there's one tour you're headlining, and the other tour is your opening. Who's on there? 3 bands, yourself and 2 others on both of them.
Oh right, okay. Support band.
Deftones headlining.
Cool headlining.
No, well, so like, there's one tour with you opening,
Yeah.
and then there's the 2 others,
So-
and there's the other one with you headlining and 2 other bands, perhaps smaller bands.
So the tour with us opening would definitely be Tool headlining, Deftones supporting, and us opening.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Or Carnival supporting.
Maybe we could switch it with Carnival.
And the one with us headlining would be. How would you want to take out?
Who would I want to take out on the road? That's difficult. Pliny.
We'd love to take out Pliny.
Yeah, absolutely.
What a gem of a
That
guy!
would be
What
a dream.
an unbelievable musician!
Yeah.
That I don't know if you heard it, the new EP.
We have, yes, we've been
Oh,
listening to it in the band a lot.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible.
so good.
Absolutely
That
mind
you know,
blowing.
just simple note selection, just like gets you here. You know.
Oh, absolutely. And I love the way that this last EP has sort of got the full treatment, and it's got Marco Miniman on drums,
Exactly.
you know, and everything. You know.
Amazing.
Did you listen to his first ever EP back in the day?
Yeah, oh, yes,
Before
yeah.
it was called Pliny, it was called something else.
Yeah.
Halcyon or something.
When it had a name rather than
Yeah, he had an EP called Pastures. Like this is 2009, 2010. It's amazing seeing how he's grown since then.
Oh yeah, it's phenomenal, isn't it? Even since the first one in this trilogy, really. You know what I mean? Like, you know, just how he builds the songs in his sort of head is just kind of
He's
incredible.
really far-sighted, you know. Like the way he brings themes back from previous works into what he's doing now. It's amazing. Like, I wish I had a
It was an honor to have him play on our album. It really was.
We were thrilled.
Okay, and last question, last final stupid one. Okay, if Skyharbor was a sports team, right, what colour would you play in,
What color would we play?
and what would be your shirt sponsor?
Do it.
So it would be Lay's chips.
Bastard. We were planning this for a while.
We call him Chips. Yeah, he is Chips of the band. So vending machines, gas stations, everywhere.
I have a little problem.
Alright, and what colour would you play in?
That purple.
Purple. Yeah.
Alright,
Purple and chips.
Alright guys, this has been awesome, it's been fantastic. Really pleased to meet you.
You too, man.
I'm looking forward to this evening so much.
We're
So
stoked
are we.
as well.
We're really excited.
Awesome, thank you very much indeed.